years of age. I didn't know anything about how to really run a business at 24 years of age. And I grew that business to a very successful business. But then along the way, I screwed a lot of things up, and I ended up filing for bankruptcy and having to sell that company and starting over again. And literally in my lifetime, as we said, 57 years old now, I have filed for bankruptcy 3 times in my life because I've been in business all my life and I've made major mistakes that put me in a position. I made the mistake, but it put me in a position to have to file for bankruptcy 3 times. So
I need to check with our producers. Did they vet the fact that our motivational coach was bankrupt 3 times? How did we get this guy in the air? No, I'm just kidding. Seriously. No, but Darrell, actually, I respect you for the fact that you're saying this. And what it says to me is that you're a guy that will go out and try things, because when you said you were like 24, you started this manufacturing company, had some problems, these things happen, I thought to myself, was the guy bold or was he like crazy? So, I mean, obviously it was a live and learn, but you were willing to take the chance is what it comes down to.
Absolutely. And still the same thing for everyone. No matter what they've done, they have to be willing to take the chance to start over. As the saying goes, you got to get back up, you got to dust yourself off, and you got to start back down that road again.
All right. So regardless of your circumstances, you have to just adapt to them. You can't. The dream you thought you might have had, you got to move on, basically, is what it comes down to.
You do. You have to accept the reality of it, and you can't say, certainly we all want to feel sorry for ourselves for just a little bit, but then once that little bit's over, now you've got to step back up and you've got to say, okay, now it's my responsibility to go make it happen again.
All right. Well, thanks for that advice. No, I mean, for our listeners. Vince, very cool vegetarian Vince has something to say here in our final seconds of this segment. Go ahead.
And a quick question. Now, with 3 bankruptcies, was it easier to come back after the first one or the second one? Was it something, I've been through this before, I can get myself through this? Was it an easier thing to come back from?
Unfortunately, and I certainly don't mean to make light of it, but the more times I went through it, the easier it was for me to come back, because I learned the process of how do you rebuild your credit? How do you go about getting loans again, because you're going to start another business?
Did it have anything to do with the amount of zeros on the liabilities in each case at all?
Well, it certainly did, but the reality of it is when you're in business for yourself, that's your income. So when you go out of business and you file for bankruptcy, you have no income whatsoever. Now you have to start all over again.
Yeah, okay.
So if let's say your friend that you're talking about.
Right, that guy we're talking about? Yeah.
Right. Let's say that he has a job. So you've gone through bankruptcy. You've lost your house. And here in Arizona, the world, we've all seen everybody's house get upside down, and so a lot of people have lost their homes. So you have to say, I'm not going to. That's not my reality. That I'm a deadbeat now because I lost my house. The world crashed, and now I have to start over again. But you have a job. Your friend has a job. So you've got some income to start over again and just start learning to live below your means again, and then start saving and starting over.
All right, so our message tonight is if you're still breathing, if you're still above ground, there's still hope, folks. One more segment with our motivational folks, and we do have some more questions to ask them about some interesting real-life cases. Stay with us, crowdedplanetradio.com. It must be our 3rd anniversary. Wait, it's a new year. Can we get rid of that sound effect?
No! That's awesome.
All right. Crowded Planet Radio here, KFNX News Talk Radio 1100. I'm Bunker Bob. He's Wolf Boy Jack.
Hello.
All right, we're having a fun time here. It's the new year, Happy New Year and all that good stuff, even though it's like a couple weeks into it. Doesn't matter. It's Crowded Planet Radio. It's our 3rd anniversary. And Darrell Knoch in studio with us, talking about self-image, talking about motivation. Let's talk about some stories in the news here. what do we do with, I'm just going to run through a couple of these, and you can just grab at any of them after I give you the list. What do we do with a math teacher that takes money from his students, that they can buy grades? What do we do with a 10-year-old kid?
Oh, my God.
What do we do with a 10...
Speak to that one.
Okay, so keep that, just make a note on that one. And then I'll read a few of them. You can come back. And then what do we do about a young kid, 10 years old in Georgia? This goes back to Halloween. And there was a woman that he thought was going to take his candy, and he pulls a gun on her. I don't know how a kid had a gun to begin with. And then a burglar gets caught by the cops, and he says to the cop, it's my birthday today. Can you give me a break? Then we've got a prostitute who calls the cops because she's not getting the right amount of money from the John that they were having sex with. So she calls the cops and asks them to make this guy pony up all the money. We have some... these stories are always in these areas, right? Story out of Florida, some pizza shop owners, they were having a kind of a battle with a local pizza place down the street there, and they burned down their rival store. And then let's see what else we have. Frustrated workers quitting their jobs in strange ways, and most American workers not engaged in their jobs. We just have a couple of minutes left,
Okay.
and from all the stories I threw out there, I want to throw some final moments to Darrell with all the type of people I went through here, young kids pulling guns, students paying for grades, teachers allowing that to happen. What do you have to say about that?
Well, in reality, what that boils down to is integrity. What are we teaching our society with integrity? And certainly, I don't want to bring up a lot of issues of who did what or whatever, but, one of the turning points that a lot of people said that we thought that we had an integrity change in the country was when Bill Clinton was the president of the country, and he was doing the Monica Lewinsky thing. And so, everybody said, well, he still stayed president, but, it's like, how do you do whatever you're doing? George W. Bush, he went out and put, a free ride for, I forget the company's name now, but, you can go rebuild Iraq, and we're not gonna ask you how much you're gonna charge.
Oh yeah,
just go do it. While he was a board member of that company.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, so I guess these aspects, integrity, there's an ebb and flow to it because, Richard Nixon, Watergate,
without a doubt.
So every so many years we cycle through. So our society needs a motivational coach, basically.
I really believe that to be true. Our society goes through, like you said, the ebb and flow of, we all get a little lax. We all get a little too fat and happy, so to speak, and we need a reality check to bring us back to what is the foundation stone of our life every day.
All right, I want to thank our guests tonight, and Darrell Knoch. Check out his website, truewealthuniversity.com. And, of course, always check out crowdedplanetradio.com. Tell us if you love us or hate us. Just because we like to read the stuff, we don't really care. All right, see you next.
You're listening to KFNX News Talk Radio 1100, Cape Creek, Phoenix, the home of Laura Ingram, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. KFNX News Time. It's 10 o'clock.
CNN Radio.